What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Who Gives a Dram. Episode 8. We are here. We made it another week here on Who Gives a Dram. I'm your host, Connor, and if you haven't already, follow the podcast on Instagram at Who Gives a Dram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just type in Who Gives a Dram. It should show up. And, do all that other stuff. I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas. I think I enjoyed mine because, full disclosure, a little behind the scenes of podcasting, I like to get these episodes done ahead of time. And I like to make sure that I'm prepared and I produce the highest quality content that I can for everyone who listens to the show. So I'm recording this before Christmas, and this is technically going to be the New Year's episode. So I am a few weeks ahead, just based on how it all, what holidays drop on what days this year. But I'm a little ahead of schedule, but I'm sure that I'm going to enjoy Christmas, and by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be well past Christmas. So, a little behind the scenes of a podcaster's life for you guys. But Christmas time, it's always a great time. And with Christmas time, with great times, with the holiday season, calls for great bourbon. So, we are sticking on the path of Buffalo Trace. For a fourth week in a row, because we started with Eagle Rare to start off the holiday season after Thanksgiving, and then we went with the classic Buffalo Trace. Last week we did Buffalo Trace Bourbon Cream, which was a bit of a different review for me because it wasn't technically whiskey, and today we're gonna continue with the path of Buffalo Trace. But before we get into that, I want to talk about something that has happened technically 2 days ago now, but it's gonna be a few weeks old at this point. But I have to talk about it now because it's a platform to talk about it, and I need to get it off my chest. Last Friday was the season finale of The Mandalorian. Now, I think I've mentioned The Mandalorian a few times on the show, but if you don't know already, I love the show. I love The Mandalorian. It's a fantastic show, and it's really kind of reignited my love for Star Wars. I kind of go through phases of I enjoy Star Wars, I don't enjoy Star Wars, but, The Mandalorian has kind of brought back my original feelings from when I was a kid. I remember watching the prequel trilogy, thinking it was the coolest thing in the world. I think I was 3 or 4 when the Phantom Menace came out, so that was my childhood. And the sequel trilogies were fine, I guess. They definitely could have been done better, I believe, but The Mandalorian is with Baby Yoda and Mando, and now they brought back spoiler alert, you should see it by now, Luke Skywalker, and the other Jedi there, I call her Asako Toka or something, I forgot her name, but just what a fine piece of television, not just because it's Star Wars, but the acting, the cinematography, the directing, the plot points, the build-up, it's all fantastic. And last week was the season finale, and it's still fresh in my head. And man, let me tell you what, there are some cool scenes in movies and television that stand out in my mind. Obviously, Captain America wielding Thor's hammer and the entire end credits of Avengers Endgame are probably the first thing that come to my mind. But there are several other moments that I just can't think of right now off the cuff live. When you see hindsight, you know it's Luke's X-Wing, but when you see an X-Wing pull into Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer, and you're kind of wondering who it's going to be, and you see the cloaked, hooded figure walk down the hallway on the surveillance camera, and you see Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, reaching out towards the camera to, saying, "Oh, I know, I feel the Force with this guy," and then seeing a live action, actually well choreographed Luke Skywalker destroy some dark troopers, man. It doesn't get much better than that, and that's something that I am going to remember for the rest of my life. That scene, the music, the intensity. Now, did Luke's face look really weird when he was talking after he took off his hood? Yeah, it did, but don't care. It's the concept behind young Luke was in the 1970s original trilogy. We saw old Luke in the sequel trilogy. Obviously, in the prequel trilogy, Luke wasn't born yet until the end of Revenge of the Sith. I sound like such a nerd right now, man. Holy crap. But this is important to me. And, I did enjoy a nice glass of Weller 107 while I was watching The Mandalorian. So there is a tie into whiskey with this. But, all in all, one dram, everybody knows the rules, a rating for Who Gives a Dram, The Mandalorian season finale, it's a 10. Perfect 10. But with it being the end of the year, the end of The Mandalorian, this is the New Year episode, even though it's not really New Year's for me, I'm still celebrating with you guys because I love you guys that listen and follow along with me. And I hope everyone's actually drinks with me because that would be sweet. But today we're doing a special bourbon. It's something that I've fallen in love with, and it's something that I enjoy very much. If I had to pick a top bourbon off the top of my head, this is it. So without further ado, for those watching on the podcast, I've got a brand new bottle of Blanton's bourbon. Now, Blanton's is the original single barrel bourbon, and it's distilled by Buffalo Trace, and it is probably one of the most different looking bourbon bottles that you'll find, which makes it kind of part of its intriguement is the actual bottle of Blanton's. So I've got a brand new box here, unopened. We're gonna do a live opening of the bottle. I haven't even popped the cork yet. So there it is. Get the box out of there. Comes with its own little satchel, and there's a liquid. Bland's bourbon. I'm excited for this one. So we're going to dive right into it here on Who Gives a Dram. First things first, it's one of the coolest bottles. So starting with the review, it is just such a unique and different bottle that you have to take it into consideration because it is something that you keep and you show off, even if there's no liquid inside it. So this bourbon whiskey was dumped on September 1st, 2020, stored in Warehouse H from barrel number 82 on rick number 39, individually selected, filtered, and bottled by hand at 93 proof. So we're looking at 46.5% alcohol. The back of the box reads quickly, the finest bourbon in the world comes from a single barrel and it is never blended with whiskey from any other barrel. This is the way Colonel Albert B. Blanton first bottled his private reserve bourbon nearly a century ago, and that is the way Blanton's is bottled today. It's hard to argue against that. every whiskey has its individuality, or it's what makes that particular whiskey special. Blanton's markets itself as the first single barrel bourbon. Whether that is true, I mean, none of us can know because none of us were around at that time. But they say it, so it's got to be true, you know? Why would they lie to us? But we're going to open this live. I can't really see. Let's see. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying a dram with me. A little fresh bottle open. That was kind of weak, but it's opened. And I can already smell it. So, just enough. So, first impression. Keep this bottle in the shot. First impression, color. I think it looks very almost. I've got some notes here, and I want to see if they hold up to be true because I took these notes about a month ago when I was just randomly sipping on Blanton's. But I've always thought Blanton's has more of a red color to it, like a very amberish red color that is very unique to Blanton's. Especially, well, really unique to any bourbon. I don't really get this color a lot from many other bourbons, but again, that could just be me. Yeah, I get very red, a very red / amber looking whiskey in here, and that's different, and I like different. So, going for the smell. This, I mean, Blanton's to me is one of the sweetest bourbons I've had. And I don't know if it's the single barrel. I don't know if it's just the mash bill, which is undisclosed. I don't think there's an age statement on here. I'm pretty sure there's not. But the smell to me is just always been so sweet. And I don't know why that is. It's just a very sweet bourbon to me, and yeah, I get a lot of vanilla and a lot of spices, but not like a rye spice, more like a someone told me I smell for too long, so I'm trying not to smell for too long. They got inside my head. Yeah, I guess it's mostly just a lot of vanilla and just a hint of spice that's there. I don't really get a whole lot of oakiness, which tells me that this, although there's no age statement, is probably not a young bourbon, but younger. It's very, like we said, Buffalo Trace, the last whiskey that we reviewed, was a very good bourbon, but there was nothing unique about it. This is a bourbon that is very unique, and that's what makes it Blanton's, from the packaging and the bottle to the color to the nose and to the taste, which we'll get to in a second. Blanton's really stands out. So if Buffalo Trace is the guy that everyone likes at the party, Blanton's is the guy that everybody wants to be at the party. And they might not like him because of that, but everyone wants to be the guy. He's different, he's cool. The girls think he's mysterious, and that makes him, and that makes them want to know more about him. But he's always not there, and he's always kind of just, he knows how to play the game. Let's put it that way. Blanton's knows how to play the game. They know exactly what they're doing. That's two pretty bad references or pretty bad comparisons to two very good bourbons, but that's how I think of it in my head, and sometimes some weird stuff goes on in my head, so I'm just being honest with you guys. But anyways, I want to drink this because it's just making my mouth water. So, to everyone listening, to everybody watching, Slante. Yeah. That's always my first word after I take a sip of something good, which is almost all whiskey. It's just, yeah. What did I write down on the palette here? Oak and fruit. See, now I'm getting a little bit more vanilla and sweetness again with this, but I do get a hint, and I don't know what it's from, but I do get a little bit of a fruity note to it. So that holds up to be true. Oak, I mean, all whiskey tastes like oak to a degree. So that's kind of a standard note is oak. So I don't know if I really count that or not. I mean, yeah, I do count it. It's it's just very standard. It's like saying a cookie smells sweet, or I don't know, a piece of bread smells like wheat, or that's just, of course whiskey's gonna smell like oak because it's sitting in oak barrels. But some whiskeys do smell more like oak than others, which is again just one of the very, very many cool things about whiskey. And also what's cool about this is this little bag that says Blanton's on it. I don't know if you can see it there on the video podcast. Cool little, you can put like change in here or something. You can make this a man purse. Like put it on your, I don't know, put something in here, something cool. For those who are listening, it's like a brown, very soft, cool looking bag that has the word Blanton's on it, and it's just a very, it's neat that that Blanton's puts all their bottles in they know what they're doing in terms of marketing, man. They make it seem like you are drinking a bourbon that is a once in a lifetime experience, and I really respect that. Buffalo Trace Distillery, I guess, knows what they're doing with this stuff. It's a very sleek, it's a very good looking bottle, and the presentation is there. The presentation is a 10. But let's go back to the taste. Let's take another sip. Yeah. And you have to take in consideration MSRP for Blanton's. So Blanton's is one of those whiskeys that is becoming more and more allocated, so you can't really find it a lot. I was able to find this at MSRP, which is around, Blanton should be around, in my opinion, as low as 50, as high as 70. That's about what you should be paying for Blanton's. If you really can't find it and you come across a bottle for a little bit over 70, I would pay it. I think it's that good. I would say maybe, if I'm being completely honest, if I was desperate, maybe $90 would be my limit as to what I would pay for this. And that's saying a lot, because there are some people who I've seen buy this for as low as like $45 or $50. So that's just my honest opinion as to what I would pay. But it tastes more expensive than it is. It looks more expensive than it is. So we're gonna judge this off an MSRP rating of what I paid, which was $60, I believe. 60 or $65. I forgot what I said, but I think it was 60 or $65 that I paid for this. Let's say 60. Make it even. $5 here or there, whatever. So $60 for a bottle of Blanton's. A very sweet palate to it, with a finish that stays for a noticeably long time, but it's not a burn finish. It's a very mellow, inviting finish that makes you want to take another sip. It's kind of cool. You don't get that with too many whiskeys. Yeah. It's delicious, man. Seriously, and this is John Wick's bourbon. This is what John Wick drinks. So if you're not going to drink, what makes you better than drinking what John Wick drinks? You know? It's, if it's good enough for John Wick, it's good enough for me. That's what I say about everything. So, if we're going to give this a score with my unprofessional opinion, everything taken into consideration, as always like we do here on Who Gives a Dram, we're going to say this. It is definitely one of my favorite bourbons, taste-wise. It is a very, very affordable bourbon for its quality, although its quantity is not always available. If you can find this for MSRP, this has got to be, I would say, a 9.3 for a $60 bourbon. It's just fantastic. If you've never had Blanton's, I feel for you. I honestly do. It's I've had a few bottles of this I've been able to find, and every single time it gets better. Seriously, every single time this bourbon gets better. So we're going 9.3 on this rating. And that's that. I can't wait to have a few more drams of this today because it's I go right into editing this thing after I shoot it. So again, we're gonna wrap it up. I got some stuff I got to do. So again, to everybody out there, thank you for the support. 2020 has been a year, but we got through it, and it's a pleasure to be here. To be able to have an audience that takes in my content and enjoys it. I'm glad everyone is loving the video podcast. I really enjoy doing them, although it's kind of a pain in the ass to set up sometimes. And we're gonna keep on going. 2021, I got some really, really cool stuff coming up. Some collabs we're gonna do. And just some really fun ideas that I have, and of course we're just gonna keep on drinking whiskey together. I have no plans on stopping this. So, thank you to Blanton's for being a very, very tasty beverage. I'm gonna go finish this. As always, my buddy Nick Bossy at Nick Bossy Music is going to sing me out, Pretty New Diamond, and I'm gonna go about the rest of my day. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Even though it's not really New Year for me, we deserve this. We deserve every dram that we're drinking right now. So, take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later.
Up in New England, that girl sure loved me. We got together and brought things to life. I did buy her a pretty new diamond and asked that sweet woman if she'd be my wife. There was a kind of feeling love songs are made of. With that sweet woman, spend the rest of my life. She came along, I was hurting, but at the end of my tunnel I saw no light. Fast forward a few months later, broke my heart and I can't keep going. Guess I'll just sit here and get drunk tonight. Vows they meant nothing and she ran to a stranger, and with Johnny Walker I'm passing my time. And I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Gave me back that pretty new diamond and broke my heart a second time. But I got the last laugh when I pawned off her ring, 'cause I bought me a dime bag and a case of Coors Light. I asked the Lord, what should I do? But I'm too drunk to hear him tonight. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could cry. So sit with my bottle while Hank Sr. singing. I'm so lonesome I could